And this is kind of in some ways silly, embarrassing, sad, a little humorous in some ways. So Judicial Watch was the first to uncover, through separate Freedom of Information Act litigation, that there was a grand jury looking at the Clinton email issue. Now, the grand jury wasn't they weren't seriously, in my view, using the grand jury, because the grand jury was essentially being used, it looks like, to get documents. They needed the power of a grand jury to compel production of documents, and I don't think there was any witness testimony before the grand jury. But no one had known there was a grand jury. And of course, if there was a grand jury and it had been reported at the time, it would have been bad news for Hillary Clinton's campaign, which is why the government never told us about it. So, of course, that was a pro-Clinton operation at the DOJ and the FBI at the time. So Page and Strzok, so they get word of this through a news story, and Page and Strzok are communicating and sending emails around and about this, and someone gets offended about who the email was sent to. And remember, they're paramours, to put it charitably. Page emails Strzok, "Are you serious, dude? I sent to blank. So I've committed some grave sin for not including you on this? My apologies, DAD Strzok, Director, Deputy Assistant Director Strzok, sir." Strzok emails Page, "You know what? Take a step back and look at this and stop with the DAD bull sugar. That's not the point, you know it." Page emails Strzok, "I think you should take your own advice. I didn't look to see who was on the distribution when I sent it. Sorry, that's on me, but this is distinctly not a big deal, and I definitely didn't err in not including you on a 2-line email to blank. Get a grip." Now, does that sound like a professional relationship that you want your FBI, or professional behavior you want your top senior FBI agents to be engaging in? When I said at the top of this report about Peyton Place, look, I'm too old to have watched Peyton Place, but I know generally it's a soap opera over there. So you've got this ethical morass at the FBI that these emails demonstrate. And there's more emails where Strzok is yelling about people trying to bypass him. I won't bother you with those emails. But the emails show the Obama FBI, then run by Comey, to be both a mess both professionally and ethically. And of course, the best example of this mess is this slubber spat created by a Judicial Watch disclosure, of all things. But the news, why were these, and this goes to another ethics issue. The relationship was wrong, obviously, on a moral level between Strzok and Page, but it was also a problem in terms of the investigations. Because when Page was a top lawyer in the FBI, advising Andrew McCabe, the number 2 at the FBI, so a senior person, and Peter Strzok was the lead investigator on the 2 major issues. So if you want a lawyer to provide advice to you on someone else's behavior and provide advice to them on what they should be doing investigatively, you want the lawyer to be disinterested. Just the facts, what's the law, what's the best interest of the agency, what's ethical, and all the sorts of things you want a good lawyer to be making judgments on. But when the lawyer and one of the folks that she's working with in this sensitive position have this personal relationship that no one knows about, an inappropriate one that they obviously don't want anyone to know about, that throws that whole thing. It's a major ethical distraction. And it calls into question the decision-making that was taking place and the advice and counsel Lisa Page was given, what Strzok was able to do as a result of this inappropriate relationship. And what information he may have been getting and receiving and vice versa, all sorts of ethical issues. And I don't know if the IG is looking at that, but someone needs to. It's infected both the Clinton email investigations, I know the political side of it, the corruption on the political side, certainly infected the targeting of Trump, this illicit relationship. So I think that's something worth considering. Yeah, we're getting these emails. As I said, there are 13,000 pages that are being reviewed, and we're getting them intermittently. We're going to get them through next year. And this is material that if Congress has, they haven't released it. It's only being released to Judicial Watch in a piecemeal fashion. They're releasing it slowly. 13,000 pages of documents, that could have been released to us. We sued for them in January of 2018. To be fair, maybe 4 months. They could have given them to us a year ago. But instead, they're giving us the documents in dribs and drabs. As I said, this group of documents, I think, had 345 pages. So presuming there are monthly productions, usually the typical production's 500 pages. Those of you who are in the legal community, those of you who review documents, you know you could probably do 500 pages in an afternoon in terms of a document review. Yes, and that means evaluating documents to make sure that nothing improper is being disclosed to the recipient. Because as a FOIA recipient, we can't get everything we want. Sometimes there are national security redactions, personal privacy redactions. We don't want someone's social security number. We don't want material that's not related to our request. It might be interesting, but we don't want it, and we understand why it might be withheld. So even doing all of that sort of work, no reason for this. And it just shows you this is why it's important to have a group like Judicial Watch, who is focused on getting the truth out and is unwilling to stop doing this work because of delay. And I know the delay seems long to you, and we want it to move more quickly, but it's only a delay. It doesn't stop the truth ultimately from coming out, or at least some of the truth from coming out. And it's only because that we're willing to go to court and stick around and push in court to get this information does it ever see the light of day. I mean, the media is working with the FBI. This is stuff that we want, and they're working in hand in glove with the FBI. And Congress, to the degree it gets documents, it's always a political fight, so that process is screwed up. I mean, the Republican-controlled Congress couldn't get documents from the Republican-controlled Justice Department. And certainly the Democrats running the House has zero interest in exposing their corruption from when they ran the FBI and Justice Department under Obama. So it's up to Judicial Watch to get the truth out, and that's what we're doing.